Good afternoon, Carolyn, Nadja. Good to see you both. Hope you're both doing well. Good morning, Nadja.
Just noting some of the customs data that we've got, and it did show that China turns up oil tap from Russia as purchases of US crude remain suspended in July. One of the interesting things, they say that Beijing's deepening energy trade with Moscow makes Russia a top source of China's crude oil imports, while they cite an analyst who sees paused US imports as a bargaining chip.
Oh, good, Carolyn. Good to hear. All right, folks, let's get stuck into the session. So a few things to note today on the calendar. One, FOMC minutes. Two, we're going to look at the RBNZ rate decision, but we'll look at that in a moment. First of all, just getting the overall context. The risk with the minutes this afternoon, stroke early evening UK time, is if we see more of a disagreement between FOMC members about how inflation driving the tariffs are and how much emphasis the Fed's putting on the labour market before cutting interest rates. So the minutes will probably show a more nuanced discussion than the market pricing has been recently, with September rate cuts getting priced in. You can see here for the Fed, for September 21 rate cut, most likely seen 86% chance of a rate cut coming for September, and then by the end of the year another interest rate cut. The minutes should show that discussion is a lot more balanced. So the risk here is that the minutes show a divided board, which could support the dollar and send equity markets lower later in the session. So just be aware of that coming up. And also, the other big event for equities and for the dollar this week is the Jackson Hole Symposium. And the risk is that Powell is more concerned about the, inflation returning, and plays down the mood of, 2 interest rate cuts this year. So I think the risk here is that some of this dollar weakness reverses this week, and we might see a little bit more downside in equity markets. So that's the risk. And you could see that starting with the FOMC minutes this afternoon. Then in terms of the sentiment, just remember yesterday we had equity markets being dragged lower, and that was being driven by the drop in the Nasdaq. Some big tech stock names driving Nasdaq falls, and we saw the Nasdaq drop much further than other markets. Just notice we've moved into major support here. So we are hitting a major support level. So we need to break down through that for more downside. Could happen on a more hawkish minutes than markets are expecting. But for now, just notice that we're in this support area as we're coming into the pre-price action market open. S&P 500, just notice this little broken trend line here. We've got another trend line that's being tested. So we're kind of in a key technical area for US equities, and European equity markets are broadly supported. FTSE breaking out, China's 50 breaking out to more upside, Euro Stoxx supported, DAX well off the lows of the session, volatility remaining low, but elevated compared to recent levels. Now, US Treasury Secretary Bessent has been saying that he had very good talks with China, and the currency moves of the session are interesting. We've had a big drop in the New Zealand dollar and broad support for the pound. Support for the pound just came on that firmer than expected inflation data. You can see here, and that ties in with the Bank of England's more hawkish vote split in their last interest rate decision when they went 5-4. So this is just supporting that more hawkish stance. Now, it's not above maximum expectations, but look at that service sector. Look, 5%, that's not in keeping with the Bank of England's 2% target. Inflation is firm, and that keeps the sort of pound underpinned for now. Not a trade I want to be chasing anything pound long, but pound long is the name of the game today. But we have seen quite a move in that pound. Are we going to see a further move higher on that? Possibly, but not a great one for me to be getting involved in. Yeah, I think either way, it's pound selling because it's stagflation, low growth, high inflation. So the Bank of England has a problem, and it will just, it just makes life harder for them. So I think it would be pound negative, because eventually the Bank of England would have to respect labour data and cut interest rates. So I expect labour to trump inflation. Could be wrong, but that's what I go for. But it creates a stagflationary environment. So I go for pound selling. But it's a sort of print now, Jam, where you're going to have, weak labor data. Oh, but they remember the high inflation. So you could see really choppy price action on a weak labor data print. Sudden drop lower, then it suddenly gets dipped bought. So I wouldn't want to get involved with it. Hey, Brian. Yeah, what it's potentially heading for, that stagflation environment. It's a horrible economic situation to be in, and that's the one it's looking at. That's what we're playing towards. Hey, Constantinos as well, you just come in as well. Now, the currency option that I do like is the New Zealand dollar. You know, you can see the New Zealand dollar big move, huge drop on the interest rate decision. Now, they cut interest rates by 25 basis points, and they're down to 3%. But 2 members voted for a 50 basis point cut, and they've revised lower the projections. If you look at what they looked at in May for monetary policy projections, you can see, look, for August, lower across the board, right? Across the whole area. You can look at the data here on the RBNZ website. I'll just give that to you to have a little peruse at your own leisure. But bottom line, the RBNZ are showing weaker conditions ahead. That's supporting New Zealand dollar lower, and Aussie New Zealand dollar upside makes sense. So technically, what I like, you just broken out this structure here, big overhead resistance.
More from Sweden, this time from the PM. They say they want to be part of security guarantees for Ukraine, but must be under safe and secure conditions.
So what I'm looking for here is a pullback back to this level, right? So if we get a pullback, you know, back to the sort of this kind of region here, right, I'll be looking at buying. Also, I want to look at, let's leave that there. I want to look at this as a potential high type kind of flag pattern. Let's just find it right here. So there she goes. That's worth looking at, folks. Right, if you look at the, you know, if we get a break of that on balance volume higher, that's definitely something I'll be looking at. What you've got here is steep trend price move, pullback on a fundamental driver. If you look at the yield spread, that's pushing higher as well. The Aussie New Zealand 10-year bond yield spread. You've got kind of 1-2 touches here. So pull back to that level, I'm happy to buy. Break of this, I'll take that as a high tight flag pattern. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's a big move. It's quite a steep pullback out of that level, then I think it's suitable for going longs. And you know, the entry is quite nice. And if you look at the ultimate target, right, if you just put the ultimate target in, got a really good risk reward here. All right, let's just see where that will be. That's right up into that level there. So the risk reward is up to there. That gives it a potential 5-to-1 risk reward. So that's really quite attractive. So a breakout of that level on the 15-minute chart with on balance volume pushing higher, that's a risk reward of about 5 to 6 to 1. I like that. I'll be looking at that. And then you can just trail the stop as it goes. Stops just underneath this little swing point there. So there we go, folks. I'm just going to duplicate that and I'm going to put it over here. Just going to pull it out onto a different chart. So I've got that to hand, put that onto another screen. Yeah. Just going to get that tidy. Yeah, and see, just have a little on balance volume pushing higher. That wouldn't be unreasonable. Okay, right, folks, that's what I'm looking at there. Aside from that, silver longs, just maintaining them. Took off a couple of my late silver entries. Just underneath that swing point there, but keeping my overall structure in because it's based on the weekly chart and Bollinger Band breakout, and stops can be, you know, I've got my stops running underneath the 20 exponential move, the 20 moving average. So that's fine. You know, it's just price is just falling into support, just taking out some of the weaker silver longs that I had, but that's maintaining the bias otherwise. All right, folks, apart from that, got some Fed speakers, got Waller at 4, got the FOMC minutes at 7, and we've got Bostich coming later as well at 8. So it's Waller at 4, highly respected Fed member. So watch out for reactions from Waller. He'll be speaking at 4, not directly speaking on monetary policy per se, but you never know. And then you've got FOMC minutes at 7 and Bostich at 8. So we've got quite a lot of potential catalysts towards the second half of the day. All right, folks, that's it. And I think that's, let's see if that's a bit of an entry here on the, I'd take that as a Aussie New Zealand dollar entry there. So I'll take that as a long. All right, folks, just going to pop those orders on and I'll see you in a bit. Folks, looks like we've got a little break here of this pattern, so that longs on for me in the Aussie New Zealand dollar pair. Now going over to stocks, ES futures, we can see session Globex open negative. We're in this value area high, so in a natural support area, and some sellers have got trapped there. All right, so in a kind of area trying to find support, could be a good selling area or buying area. So note that on the 1 hour. On the 15, we've got a few value areas that are sandwiching price, and we're just sitting in the middle of that now. These sellers, if they can get trapped, that could open up a way to the upside. Or if you get, or we want to see these buyers trapped underneath the VWAP, then we're looking to go lower. So we'll have to see where we go. For now, what we're looking at, oh, look at that, that's a bit nice. That's a bit tasty. Right, now that is a little decent. So these are buyers trying to overtake these sellers here at the open. If they can overtake at the open, then the potential is to go for longs, but just got to be careful.
Response here from Russia that they do introduce retaliatory sanctions against 21 British and Western nationals, according to the Foreign Ministry.
Just got to be careful here because we've had very weak volume on the open before. Up above these sellers, then a pull back down to that region. Right, this area here, I'll be looking for buyers, or kind of a real clean break above this level. So above these sellers and those sellers, then I could take a bit more of a generous pullback, a shallower pullback, or else you just have to watch that you don't get caught up in this level, in that value area. So that's what I'm looking at. I've got 56 seconds. Just gonna pop that up out of the way here. Let's be looking at the tick chart, just putting it up on the other screen for myself. The tick, 30 seconds. Let's see if we can go above that. Standard deviation holding price for now. 8 seconds. Let's see. Price, right, breaking above those highs. We're into the value area, so I want to pull back down to here to give me the longs really. It's got to be careful you don't get stopped out here. So looking for a pullback, ideally into this area, to look for sellers to get trapped, then go long. That's what I'm looking for. So I'll put the V up the standard deviation. So if I get sellers trapped here, I can go long. I'm at that standard deviation. No, so no one's trapped. Right, now we're going down. The VWAP will be an ideal area. Still heading lower. Right, so I'm looking for some sellers to get trapped down here. That's what I want to see. On the VWAP, do I get any sellers trapped here? That's what I want to see. This is the area I'm looking for. This is the battle area. Right, gonna go long if I get sellers trapped here. Right, gone long.
Now, just an update from the UK government on Russia. So they say the new UK sanctions target circumvention and crypto networks.
Okay, I'm out of that because that VWAP hasn't held. We'll re-enter if I go back above. Otherwise, it's looking like it wants to reverse. So I've taken the minimal loss that I can. I'll give it one more go. I've got some sellers trapped down here. Just check it isn't a deeper. Could be a deeper retracement, you see.
Just a bit further context on those UK sanctions. So they target Grenex and Mir cryptocurrency exchanges behind a ruble-backed cryptocurrency token A7AS. Or correction, they're rather A7A5.
No. Right, that's 2 goes at it. Okay, just got to leave that now. Right, I'm going to take that as a quick short, get underneath this level, because then that's, okay, so they're trapped there. I want to get underneath these buyers on the VWAP, see if I can get underneath it. Right, that's a little move lower now. That's it. See if we could carry on underneath this level. Get back underneath that standard deviation, that would be nice. Got some buyers getting trapped there. Right, get under here, I'm going to add another short in. Right, added another short. I'm just going to see how far down we can go. Get underneath here, then try another one. So we can sum that off. That's it, I'm out of them all now. So we finally got those 5 minutes just working out there. A nice one. Well done. Good work, Najam. Let's sort out. Yeah, that's the 15-minute, coming up to a 15-minute close. Getting underneath this area here. Yeah, shorts look very nice. They've got 15-minute coming up to close underneath these buyers here. So any pullback is suitable for shorting here.